Mhm. Did it already work? Yeah, probably, right?
Yeah, it's already saying recording, so we're in.
Perfect. Then, hello everyone and welcome. We're just give the other people 1-2 more minutes so they can join, and then we'll get started, I'd say. It's sunny again, right? Outside now. It was raining
Oh,
a few minutes ago.
no, it's still not sunny.
I see the sun.
You're on the opposite side of the city.
That's true, though. Absolutely true.
Well, the opposite side to where I am.
Yeah, opposite side of the city is correct, I'd say.
Yeah.
Hmm. I can already share the slides. Let's see. Mhm.
Yeah, there we go.
Can you see the slides? Can you see my
Yes, I
screen?
can.
The
Yes.
classic question. Um, yeah, I guess we can get started. Too past when people join now, um, they will get the slides and also the replay later. So if they miss anything in the beginning, I guess it's fine. So hey everyone, great to see you guys out here today. So what I just mentioned already, the session is recorded and we will send you the replay afterwards so you don't have to take notes. And there's also a Q&A panel. So if you have questions, feel free to drop the questions there. And then either if it fits in, we answer them right away, or at the end, we also have a Q&A session where we'll check the Q&A box and answer questions there. So yes, welcome to our webinar on boost team alignment and estimation accuracy with planning poker and NASA Agile Meetings for teams. I'm Fredi, I'm the partner and customer success manager at Resolution. And with me today is Tian, my colleague. He is our marketing specialist and he will guide you through the demo later. So yeah, we will explore today how the planning poker feature we've implemented helps teams to run more effective and engaging estimation sessions directly in Jira. So you don't need any extra tools. I think this is the main point we want to get over to you today.
Yeah, thanks, Freddie. We've got an exciting session lined up today. A quick overview of what we'll cover is why planning poker matters for agile estimation, how NASA Agile Meetings for Teams integrates estimation seamlessly into Jira. We'll do a walkthrough of the planning poker feature as well as the context fields, and we will do a real life use case and also the team benefits. And as you already mentioned, we'll wrap it up with a Q&A session.
Yeah, perfect. So let's start with the agile estimation. So let me quickly explain why estimation is still important even in modern agile teams. So first, estimation helps us and our stakeholders make informed decisions. So we need a sense of the size of work so we can prioritize and plan releases and also understand the trade-offs of it. Secondly, estimates help with forecasting. They allow us to use our velocity or throughput. I'm so sorry that I'm laughing. I have some trouble with this word and I just said it like 10 times before the webinar started. So velocity or throughput to predict what we can realistically deliver in upcoming sprints or releases. And thirdly, estimation drives shared understanding. Like the real value is in the conversation. When we estimate together, we uncover hidden complexity, misaligned assumptions, and risks. So there was one example within our team a few years back when we started. We're the sales and marketing team, so we are not like planning releases, but still have to align our work. And our team consists of like a front-end developer, like the graphic designer, um, marketing specialist, partner manager, event planner. So when we did that, there was some like our front-end developer voted for like 21 points for like a hotel booking because in his eyes it's like a lot of work to search for the right hotel to book it, and for everyone else it was like a 3 or 5 point thing because it's like quickly done. You already know your 3 4 hotels in each city, or in most cities at least, where you would go to, and then it's easily done. So just having this different view on estimation is already super valuable to exchange why someone would plan this high or low, and this is how we ended up using it regularly, actually. Today, we don't do it in a group anymore because we're like a smaller team and everyone knows how many points they can give for their tasks. But back then, this was like a huge, huge plus point to do it together. So, fourth, it helps us right size the work. Big, unclear items become visible quickly, and estimation pushes us to refine our backlog into smaller, clearer chunks to create more tasks, maybe, but therefore like smaller ones, so you can actually put them in the right sprints. Fifth, it supports capacity management. It estimates Those estimates prevent us from overcommitting or undercommitting and help ensure we're planning based on real sustainable capacity. And also, like six, comparing estimates with actuals, like how it turns out in the end, uh, like um, like a recap meeting, helps us spot issues early, like bottlenecks, unexpected complexity, so we can improve for the next planning and estimation session. So finally, estimation helps us manage scope. It gives product owners a way to judge the cost of changes and communicate trade-offs so scope stays under control. So overall, agile isn't about avoiding estimation. Also, a lot of people try to put it that way. It's more about using it as a lightweight tool to create alignment, support planning, and handle uncertainty without pretending to be perfectly precise. It's more like an idea giving, I'd say. It's more like a concept. So our planning poker, it's not only about the numbers, but it's only about, like what I said, having the discussions and uncovering hidden complexity and aligning team understanding.
Yeah,
And yeah,
exactly.
so I think that gives a good overview about why we should still estimate and the pain.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly why we built the planning poker directly into the NASA Agile Meetings for Teams app, so that instead of jumping in between tools such as Miro, spreadsheets, or Jira backlog views, teams can now estimate right inside of their meeting where the issue lives. So this keeps focus on collaboration and not tool juggling, which is really helpful in teams.
Yeah. And for those who don't know yet what our app is doing, it's like a Jira app designed to make your sprint meetings. Like you can schedule planning meetings, stand-ups, which we also do within our small team nowadays, reviews and retrospectives, and this all like in a much smoother and structured way. You can also, what you can also do is creating dedicated meeting types. So you create meeting streams like we've done. Like like I said, in different teams, it's like a planning meeting, which we don't do, but we do our daily stand up to get aligned on our work items. And then what you can also do, I'm sorry, is add context fields within the Jira work items. So you can document notes, you can add comments also on Jira work items. So this is all saved directly within Jira. You don't have to open another app. And most recently, our planning poker sessions are within Jira now, which we used to do like manually at the story points, which is not needed anymore. You just do it within the session, and then it's saved.
Right. And what's really unique about NASA is that it centralizes all of your team's agile ceremonies. You don't need separate tools for retros, for sprint planning, or estimation. So everything stays in one place and connected to all of your Jira projects. With context fields, you can define custom data points for each meeting. For example, you can track blockers, action items, or velocity goals directly in your sprint planning session. And that actually brings us to the demo. So let
Mhm.
me share my screen if I may.
Yes. You're allowed to share your screen now.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
So you can see my screen, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Hold
So
on.
we're gonna start in our mock data instance of Jira. And because we're doing a sprint planning use case of estimating story points for the upcoming sprint, we're not working on everything yet. So everything is still in to do for myself, who will be pretending to be Sam, and for Freddie, who will be pretending to be Freddie. So that's fine.
I'm a
Um, yes, you are yourself. So what you want to do is when you're inside of Jira, you want to head over to NASA. And here we can see that we have already, we have a sprint or a meeting stream set up. That's what you can see here at the top. And I actually need to prepare my update. And when you open NASA, that's where you will always be automatically taken is to your update. Unless it's not configured yet, someone will have to configure the stream yet first before you can get going. So
Mhm.
in this time, I'm gonna prepare my sprint planning update so that you can also see what the NASA app is about, how it looks, how it works, and then we will explain a bit later on how you can also use templates for different kinds of agile ceremonies. Um, okay, so review backlog. I'm just gonna say that at the moment I have nothing in backlog, so I can add just a normal text item instead of adding um, a Jira task at the moment. And I'm going to say next. So do I have a user story? I most definitely do. I want a notification service for login events on a development task that we are working on. So I'll mention that. And I need to break it into tasks. So I do have a task for that. And it's that one over there. So here we can see I've got a couple of suggested issues on the right-hand side. And this is completely customizable when setting up each and every unique meeting stream. But we'll come back to this because you can decide how you want to set it up, whether it's based on a specific issue type or whether it's based on a specific filter or urgency or whatever the case might be. But we'll go back into more detail a bit later on. So here I can see I've now added my issue and I can leave a comment. And whenever I leave a comment, I'm just going to say hello, and I can also add that to the actual issue as well. So when I publish that, it's going to be shown right underneath the item, but it's also going to be included inside the item as well. Next, estimate effort and assign responsibilities. This is important because this is where we want to include the items that we want to do some planning poker on. So let me add the important ones that I want to work on. And I'm going to go next. Sprint goals to be defined. And I'll just add that as a text item. Then next, so here I can quickly see a summary of my update before I enter the meeting lobby. So if at any point I forgot to add something, I can go back and make changes. Um, Also, nice little feature is you can drag and drop items as need be. You can react on items, um, adding an emoji if you want to express a little bit more how you're feeling about it. I'm not really feeling silly, but let's pretend that I'm feeling silly. And I can set my actual mood for this meeting so everyone can see exactly how I am feeling when going into this meeting. Right, now that I'm done and I'm happy with my update, I'm going to say enter meeting lobby. And here I
Okay.
can see the lobby. I can see that Freddy is already in there. I'm in there. Alex is not participating today, so Alex is grayed out. Um, and I can start the meeting because I'm the Scrum Master. I can start the meeting. Freddy can also start the meeting because she's the coverer. If you're only a participant, you cannot start the meeting because you're only participating. So you would always have to have a Scrum Master or at least a coverer um, present to start the meeting. So
But
now
you
that
can
I,
also set up more than one coverer in case it's
yes,
like a big meeting, then yeah, you can make everyone coverer if you want to even.
correct. So once we're in the live meeting, there's a couple of things that we need to mention. We can here see that both of our updates are listed above one another for the specific um, agenda item that we've answered. And on the right, you can see each of the agenda item that you've answered in your update. So you can see exactly how much time you have for each agenda item. Also to stick to a specific time frame so that meetings do not overrun, because that tends to happen quite easily. If you do go off track, you can just simply quickly pause the meeting before proceeding, and you can just resume it when you're ready. We don't have anything to mention for backlog. We both mentioned that the backlog is cleaned, and we can carry on to the next agenda item. And here we can see what our user stories are. And in this case, I find Freddy's item quite interesting, and I want to discuss it in a follow-up meeting. So I'll just flag it so that it can be part of a follow-up item that we can later discuss. And once we are done with this specific agenda item, we will continue as per usual. We will come to, okay, we have broken down our user stories into tasks or issues, or rather items as they're called these days. Um, and they are displayed. But before we carry on with that, we actually want to go and get into the planning poker and define the effort for these tasks. And this is where we both have a couple of tasks set up. Now, for the planning poker to start, you obviously need to be in a live meeting where items are already added to the specific agenda point. Estimation can happen in any of these, so it's up to you when you customize questions when setting up a meeting stream, in which specific agenda item or at which point in the agenda you want to start your estimation. For us, it obviously makes more sense to do it in the estimate part. So here I will go and hover over the item, and I can click on estimate. And I can see that both Freddy and Sam are in here. And
Yeah, this
for
when
this,
you clicked on it, it also automatically opened in my screen that I have
correct,
open, so I can also I'm part of the estimation now.
correct. So, Freddy, let's take some time to give all of these our vote, how many story points we think each of these need. So let's start with role assignment. I'm giving it my vote. Um, let's see what okay, we do agree on that one. We both believe it's 5. Let's go on to the next one. So here we can see it's add password reset flow. It's a little bit more complex. There are a couple of more things that needs to be done. So I'll give it my rating. And once we are done, let's see. Okay, we are a little bit misaligned, but not too far off. But still, it gives us our total or our average between the two of us. Let's do one more just for the sake of it. Let's go to one of mine,
Mhm.
create a role management database. Okay, we know that that can also take some time, but manageable. So let me give that a vote. And we agree on 8 for the both of us, and we can see the average estimation is 8. So as easy as that, that's how the planning poker is done quite effectively with inside your existing meeting without having to go to separate tools. Um, I'm sharing my screen at the moment, and I would also share it during the meeting, but all of the participants and the coverer will all look at their dedicated screens inside of NASA so that they can participate in the planning poker voting. So they are engaged, number one. So that's great that they are focused in the meeting. Um, none of us are switching anywhere else. Everything happens in here and we can continue with the meeting and it will save everything for us. But let's continue so that we can see how that is done. So if I go on to the next agenda point, it is sprint goals. We say to be discussed. So that's just for the sake of this demo. And at the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say that we are done with this meeting. So I'm just going to hit stop. And then here we can see a couple of things. We can see the item that were most talked about in this case was role assignment admin interface. And we can see that we voted, we gave it 5 story points each. That's why the average estimation ended up on 5 story points. And we can see the item that I flagged of Freddy's that we need to discuss. So below that, you'll see that the team journal button just turned blue. So we want to click on that to have an overview of our team journal and what was just discussed. We can see the mood was inserted. Everyone's mood was quite happy. And here we can also, again, see that the planning poker results were shared again. So at any point, if we need to come back to this meeting, we can just come back to the date and find exactly what was planned. For example, I'm going to go to a previous meeting. Here we also did something similar where we had a smaller planning poker, but we can still see what was planned and how many story points were allocated in that meeting. So at any point in time, you can easily just come in and select on the dates that are obviously shown. You can select those dates and see what kind of points were allocated for those items, but also see what happened in the specific meeting for the sprint planning on that day, not just for the planning poker, but what was said in general in the whole meeting. So other than that, we have a couple of other things. We can see that we had 58% participation. And the reason for that was obviously that because Alex did not join, goals met and resolved suggested issues, those are on 0 because we didn't transition any issues into done and so on. Important to mention is you can also see that we have the export to Confluence button. So what's really nice is you can set Confluence as a data point where you can export to, so that all of what was discussed in the meeting from this update in the team journal, you can just send into Confluence, and that's another way of keeping track of not only what was said in the meeting, what happened in the meeting, but also the story points that were allocated, so that anyone can go back and watch that in Confluence if they don't necessarily find it in the NASA app. More than that, let's discuss the settings for a second. As we mentioned before, NASA Agile Meeting for Teams is for all of your Agile ceremonies. So this does not mean that it's limited only to sprint planning. We've got a couple of templates set up for you. So whether you want to do one-on-one meetings, release planning, sprint planning, sprint retro, your daily stand-up meeting, doesn't matter what. There are a couple of templates that you can choose from. You will select, obviously, your dedicated board for each meeting stream, and you'll give that meeting stream a name. And these questions are based off of, obviously, the template that you select. You can adjust the time that you want to spend on each and every question. You can add questions, you can remove questions, you can change existing questions. It's really up to you how you want to customize it. So that is fairly easy to do. And as mentioned, where we had suggested issues, in our example, we used all tasks to be displayed as suggested issues, but you can go off of priority and you can select priority. You can go off of status or Jira issue filter. More than that, context fields, actually, we didn't really talk a lot about that in the demo, but we can quickly jump back into the team journal to show that as well. But this is where you would set up your context fields, your meeting settings. This is where you would allow your Scrum Master a cover, and also set your meeting link. So if your meeting happens in Zoom, you can add your Zoom meeting link. If you want automated export to Confluence, that's where you would set that up. You have to link Confluence, but before you can do that, you need to add Confluence in your data source as well. Once it's connected in here, it will show up in the general under Team General Export to Confluence. It will show up there as well. So that's how that is done. Alongside the context fields and planning poker, we also recently released post automation. So that's where you can set up some automation rules post meeting. We don't necessarily want to discuss that in too much detail at this point or today. We will leave that for a separate webinar, but we will link some more information and send you some more links to the automation, and you can check it out for yourself. Just for the sake of the context fields, I just want to quickly jump back into our meeting that we just had. A couple of things to take into account here. We can see the due dates and the labels. These were the fields that we selected for our context fields to showcase on a specific issue. And the reason for that is also, as part of our planning poker, we wanted to select which issues are more important, which are due sooner rather than later, so we can action them first. Obviously, that depends on use case to use case. You can adjust those as you want. If you've got other relevant information that you prefer to show there, you can do that as well. It's completely up to you how you customize that, as we just saw in the settings. And yeah, that's more or less that in a nutshell. Freddie, do you have anything to add to the demo?
No, not at this point. Let me share my
Great.
screen again then. And let's move forward with, oh no, what the slides? Yeah. I think my screen is, no, annotate. Yeah. Sorry, I was just wondering what it was. So yeah, what are the benefits? I mean, Chan has just shown you the demo, so let's talk about the real world benefits. Teams using our app and our planning poker report. So really, they do have shorter estimation sessions due to not switching the tools and like the back and forth of Jira, using a tool, using Miro, or using spreadsheets. That really helps staying in one tool because it's done so much quicker and everyone can prepare at the same time, and then you just do the estimation together. You give like a minute or something, and then so people can read, think about it, and then they're giving you the estimation. So also the better consensus building, like everyone is involved, and like perception, like understanding what everyone is doing, really helps the teams to uncover hidden work, technical debt or unclear requirements before the development even begins, because it is discussed, like maybe you didn't think about one thing and someone else gives it a higher estimation, and then you're like, ah, okay, yeah, true story. Maybe I should break up either like the work items or just give it a higher estimation. So the built-in discussion flow encourages dialogue and not just like looking at the numbers, but understanding each other's perception. So also it tackles that like quieter people are also more engaged because they also have to do the estimation, and in other sessions they might be quiet, like five people already said something, so why should they? But when everyone really has to give the estimation, they're in the view, you can ask them, hey, why did you think it's like a lower or higher number? So also they are involved in the whole process. And yeah, also like in the end, which is this whole estimation game about, is like they're supposed to be at least fewer surprises during the development, right? Like surprises can always come up. I know it from our development team, when they say, yeah, yeah, we shipped this feature and then it's shipped a few weeks later because something came in between. I mean, this can always happen. It's no one's fault, but um, like agreeing on an estimation and what I said, taking into context what others think, what the work really does, or how much work it is, then it's more likely to stay on track without any surprises. I mean, there's a person in our team who always says about our work, yeah, yeah, it's quickly done, no problem. It should be a fast thing, a fast task. And normally it's never fast, it's never quick. And we work a lot with the terms technically done because because stuff, yes, we are already far in the process, but it's still not done. So yeah, doing it together, the estimation, seeing it, doing the sessions, um, I think is a real value. Um,
Yeah,
yep.
absolutely. And to be honest, that should be done quickly. There is a name that comes to mind, but let's not go into detail.
Yep.
Um,
Everyone knows that name within our team. Um,
we've actually seen that distributed teams, especially remote or hybrid teams, find NASA incredibly useful because everyone stays in sync. Voting happens simultaneously, and final estimates are automatically saved back into Jira issues. No need to manually update story points, so NASA takes care of it. Um, so yeah, Freddie.
Yeah, maybe what's also important, I was a little quick, but what also just came to my mind is like some tips before you go into those planning session, you should agree on like the guidelines or the framework you're using. Like in this case, we used the Fibonacci scale. Probably everyone knows it. It's like a agile framework whatsoever, but there are others. So make sure that everyone in the team really understands which framework you're using. So there's no surprises in the end, like what I just said, or that it's completely out of control, getting out of control, and it will be like a huge discussion, but that really give those guidelines up front. People can, make themselves familiar with it and then get into the session. Also, what we did, you've seen it, like the time, um, the time boxed meetings, like we set up a specific time frame for the specific questions or for the estimation, and try to stick to that, because normally one person who set it up has thought about it beforehand, how long such a like estimation session should take. And like those timers help you really to focus on the important stuff and eliminate like irrelevant discussions also in the end. I mean, probably all have people on the team who like to talk and who like to get into like every single detail needs to be discussed, but sometimes it's just not worth it and also not important. I mean, we all have to do our work also in addition to those meetings, so really stay on track with the timing, I think. And also like what I just mentioned, also the quiet people, like keep them encouraged, like encourage them to work or keep them, interested in the whole topic, and ask them why they have voted like specifically those story, or gave tasks those story points instead of other story points. Like maybe also discuss like the highest and the lowest if they are really far from each other, like what I just said a while ago, like about our front-end developer in the hotel booking, discuss like why does someone perceive that this task is worth that amount of points, and have a discussion so next time it gets easier. I think that people understand what you're doing, so like keeping the discussion open will be really worth it, I think. Or I know that it was worth it for our team. That's what I can share with you.
Yeah. And remember that planning poker is just one part of the broader NASA workflow. You can combine it with retrospective or sprint review meeting templates, or to track performance trends across multiple sprints using context fields, for example. And that's where you can really see continuous improvement in action. And also, I would really say encourage your team members to use NASA, because it also helps increasing your Jira adoption. So that's already really helpful.
Yeah. And also with the team journal, it's like saved. It's not like talked about in a meeting, but you have proof of it, what was discussed, which also is always helpful. I mean, a lot of people nowadays use like those note taker stuff, but seriously, who rereads all of that? I think the overview, like just the real plain Jira task, seeing them and adding comments is really helpful. So yeah, I think we're done. I hope I hope it you didn't feel like what are they talking about? It would be quite late by now to say that, but yeah, if you have questions, I mean we've covered a lot, mostly the planning poker feature, but of course also the what the app is doing itself. So yeah, it was a lot. So if you have questions, then please feel free to ask them now. Or you can also like like when we send out the slides, our email addresses are in there. So if you or come up with questions later, you can of course also drop an email. But if you have questions, feel free to use the Q&A box. I don't know. Are there any?
Let's give it a minute for people to insert their questions if they have any. If not, then we proceed.
Mhm. No open questions? Yeah, let's wait one more minute, and then if there are no questions, then we give you some time of your day back because we finish early. I love that meme. It's so
Yeah,
me
it's
in
great.
a lot of meetings.
It applies to quite a few things.
Yeah, but I'm normally saying like I have a follow-up question on that topic, and then it never ends. So okay, if there are no questions and I don't see any, then here's also the QR code leading to the marketplace. Um, yeah, anything else, Tian?
Well, yeah, I would say please try it out for yourself on the marketplace. Like Freddie said, by skewing the QR code. If you have any questions, Freddie will also share the slides with you, which contains our contact information. If you have any questions or want separate sessions on how to set up your meeting stream, or if you just want another a demo specifically to your use case, feel free to reach out to us. We can help you. We can answer any of your questions that you might have if you're not feeling comfortable asking them right now, or if they require more more feedback. Let's say that we will send you all of the relevant information on the app, including documentation. So if you want, you can look through it at your own time and see exactly what is being covered. But yeah,
Then I guess we're done. 20 minutes
Yes.
of your day you just won back. All right. Then thank you, Chad, for the really good demo. And yeah, then we see you to the next webinar in a few weeks.
See you at the next one.
All right. Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Bye. Bye.